If they're not somebody who is focused on growth and they don't want it, you might be giving time that you're never going to get back. And your time is potentially more useful and more valuable in other facets, whether it's your friends, your family, your fitness, your health, your business, your finances, whatever it may be.
Ever since then, he started to use his time, effort, and his money much more effectively because the Hyperconscious podcast is change the way you think, change the way you act, change the way you live. So to answer this question, it's what you give your attention.
What do you feel is the lowest common denominator of actions or focus that most, if not all, people who optimize their potential do?
My goodness.
Whoa. I'm going to need that one again. Please. By the way, is my mic still working okay? I can't hear myself as well.
You're good.
Good? Okay. Yeah, one more time, please.
I just turned down Amy's mic a little bit because it was a little loud.
Okay.
Good?
Go ahead, Amy.
Okay.
Go ahead.
What do you feel is the lowest common denominator of actions or focus that most, if not all, people who optimize their potential do?
Oh, my goodness. That's an awesome question. Okay. They do not allow their attention to go on things that are not really important. In my opinion, that is the most important thing in the world, and I'll break this down very quickly. You have 3 resources as a human. You have time, you have energy, and you have money. That's it. If you invest your time, your energy, and your money better than me, you'll be more successful. And that's just the way it works. And energy also can be thought of as effort. So time, effort, and money. But what determines what you do with your time, effort, and money? And I'm going to use Kevin as an example. So when I first met Kevin, he was, if you don't mind me sharing, you were wasting a lot of time,
do your thing,
a lot of effort, and a lot of money. And ever since then, he started to use his time, effort, and his money much more effectively because the Hyperconscious podcast is change the way you think, change the way you act, change the way you live. So to answer this question, it's what you give your attention. So everyone think of their pet right now. That pet is influencing your feelings right now. So I'm thinking of Little Tucker. Little Tucker makes me happy. That's a good thing to think about. The people that succeed at dream chasing are the people who are very careful with what they allow into their consciousness.
Yeah, I would definitely bow to Alan on this because I believe this is more his expertise than mine. But what I would say is one of my favorite quotes in the world is your reality becomes the parts of your imagination you hold on to the longest. I believe that the people who actually optimize their potential and or accomplish the dreams they're chasing are the ones that think about it, focus on it, and take action consistently towards that reality. That's what I would say. If you can hold the thought, you can focus on the thought for longer than other people, you're most likely going to achieve more in the long run is what I would say. And then what Alan said too. But what I said also.
Appreciate you, bro.
And too.
How do you differentiate from those who say they want to support you and those who will support you?
Oh my goodness.
Actions are the tell-all.
Damn.
Actions are the tell-all. What people say, and I'll go quickly with this, but remember, there's awareness, capabilities, and then there's a difference between wanting to support someone and then being aware enough to support them and capable of actually supporting them. So some people have very low confidence, very low self-worth, very low self-belief, so they have trouble putting wind in your sails when you're out doing awesome things. And I've been in dark spots where that was hard too. So you cannot give away what you don't have. And if they don't have a lot of self-belief or a lot of self-confidence or a lot of self-worth, it's going to be very hard for them to support you. Actions are the tell-all. If someone, and you know intuitively, just ask yourself, like, how much does this person actually respect me and actually support me? And I'll just share this briefly as well. I had a moment one time where I asked myself a simple question of like, I was thinking about cutting someone out of my life, and I had to ask this really hard question to myself of like, will this person ever admire me or value me at the same level as Amy and Bianca? At the time, Amy and Bianca were 2 of my best friends. And they still are, by the way, so I'm not saying used to be, right? But I remember saying, it wasn't even no, it was hell no. And I was like, well, why am I doing this then? Like, why am I going to spend the rest of my life trying to be around someone who doesn't really respect me or doesn't really value me and doesn't really value my dreams? Because your dreams are who you are. You know, and I know that's a little bit of a hardcore statement, but if you're going to achieve your dreams, it has to leak into your identity. It has to be who you are. Like Leonardo DiCaprio is an actor. Taylor Swift is a country singer. Serena Williams is a tennis player. Tom Brady is a football quarterback. Like, your dreams are who you are. And if they don't value who you are in a lot of trouble. Actions are the tell-all.
Stole my point. That's what I was going to say. But this is what I
Twice in a
will
row?
say. This is what I will say. You can differentiate because some people, to Alan's point, are not necessarily capable of supporting you. I had this conversation a couple times in my past where I had people in my life who said, Kev, we know you're going to make it. We believe in you so much. And I was like, I appreciate that, genuinely. I don't know how the hell you believe I'm going to make it because I don't. So I don't know what information you're playing with and I'm not. I'm very, very grateful for that. But one thing they said was, I'm always here if you ever need support. I'm always here if you ever need somebody to talk to. And I remember having this conversation with myself of, I'm very grateful for that. I appreciate that support, but I don't know, and I mean this humbly, I don't know that there's a lot you can help me with. I'm living a very different life and going in a different direction, and you're not a business owner and you're not a podcaster or a speaker, and I understand you might have some life lessons that I don't, but I would probably rather get those from somebody who's in my arena doing what I'm doing. And I understand that can sound a little bit hardcore, but I always try to think to myself, what is the competency that this person has that would lead me to believe that they might have a level of help that I need? So just to switch it up from Alan's point a little bit.
Strong work, man.
Hey, man,
Well
thanks.
said.
Thanks.
How much time and energy do you put into people who are on the edge of chasing dreams but aren't sure if that's what they want to do?
Oh, my goodness. It depends on the level of your relationship. So we've talked about this before, the 5 buckets. You have the nostalgia bucket. These are people that you see very, very, very rarely and you don't have a tight relationship with. Maintenance bucket. These are people who aren't necessarily into growth, but they're not turned off by it necessarily, but they're not into it. So these are people that you just have like a maintenance relationship with. You have mentee bucket. If these people are in the mentee bucket, I would pour time into it. You then have the growth bucket. These are people who are on a similar journey to you. You can learn from them. They can learn from you. If they're in that bucket, they are dream chasers. And then you have the wisdom bucket. These are people 10, 15, 20 years ahead of you. If they're in the nostalgia bucket, I probably would not allocate much time at all. If they're in the maintenance bucket and you're trying to get them into the mentee bucket, maybe a little bit of time, but mentee and growth is where I would live. Because if you're thinking of investments, Alan will like this one. If you're thinking of investments, what is the return on the amount of time you're spending? And then this is the other thing I'll say too. You can't want something for somebody if they don't want it for themselves, because at that point you're just pulling them. They have to want it. So I would say it depends on where they are in the journey, and it also depends on where are they trying to get. If they're not somebody who is focused on growth and they don't want it, you might be giving time that you're never going to get back, and your time is potentially more useful and more valuable in other facets, whether it's your friends, your family, your fitness, your health, your business, your finances, whatever it may be.
So you don't want to commit level 10 time and effort to helping someone achieve their dreams who's only committed at a 4. One of the reasons I love coaching so much is they're making an investment in themselves and in their dreams, so I know they're more committed than most. And I did a lot of coaching before I was a quote-unquote coach, which was essentially, as a coach, all you're doing is helping other people achieve their goals. And I've always been doing that, but now that I'm a coach and I'm paid to do it, it's the commitment level is higher. When you pay attention. So why would I invest level 10 time and energy and effort into someone who only has a level 4 commitment? And so here's what I do now. There's that saying of you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. I changed the saying to you can lead a horse to water and you can't make them drink, true, but you can show them how great it is to drink water, aka lead by example. You can lead by example and inspire. So now what I do is I open the door and I invite you in. Hey, we have a monthly meetup coming up and it's on how to be a better communicator. So if you want to be a podcaster, a speaker, or a coach one day, I seriously suggest it. Also, your intimate relationship will be better, you'll be better at business, and you'll be better in your career. So I invite people in, and then when they take that initiative and they take that step, then I pour in. I used to try to go out of the door, open the door, go out of the door, go to where they are, try to convince them to come to where I am, and then try to convince them to come through the door. And that's to Kevin's point of like pulling someone up a mountain that they don't want to climb. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. When the student is ready, you can appear to help them. But if they're not ready, you're going to feel like you're really beating your head against the wall. And I've done that too many times in my life. So it's really important to make sure you're not committed at a level 10 when they're only committed at a level 4, because what if you worked with someone who was committed at a level 10? I have certain clients. This one client, I'll just talk about her. I mean, she's committed at such a high level that she's frustrated that I don't do weekly coaching for the same price point, and she's going to jump on weekly coaching as soon as possible, because everything we talk about, she's just soaking it all in. She comes with questions. She executes against everything. She's going to be so successful. I have another client who's the same way. They're going to be so much more successful than some of the clients where it's like pulling teeth to try to get them to take action. And she just wants it more at the end of the day. How bad do you want it?
Hi, my name is Tim Melanson, and I have a web development agency called Creative Crew Agency, and I'm also a podcast host of the Work at Home RockStar podcast. I met Alan a little over a year ago through my podcast. He was a guest on my podcast, and we had an epic conversation, and I was just really impressed with his work ethic. So I decided to take him up on his 30-minute consultation, and I really liked what he had to say. He was very reliant on systems, which I was in the market for a coach at the time, and I was looking for something that would allow me to synergize my businesses, but make me feel like I'm actually more productive as well. And I was impressed by his podcast as well. I was impressed by Kevin. And so I decided to jump on board with him. And it's been a little over a year now. My business has grown, but more importantly, I feel much less stressed and much more purposeful with what I'm doing and the direction that I'm going. So I definitely highly recommend Alan. If you're looking for some accountability, if you're looking for some tools, then look him up, take him up on his consultation. Thank you so much. Bye.
How do you show appreciation for those who care enough to fear for your dream chasing journey without validating those same fears?
That is a great question. I think we said this in the last one too. I think you have to be vulnerable, and you have to let them know how you're feeling. It's one of those things where I'm very, very, very grateful. I appreciate the fact that you don't want to see me get hurt. But without the risk, there is no reward. Without me doing this, nothing great will come of it. And to Alan's point, and this is a very important, impactful word to choose, I don't believe I'll be fulfilled if I don't try this. I do not believe I will be the most fulfilled version of myself if I don't try this. Taryn and I have had this conversation before, because when we're walking, I'm always like super scared that she's going to walk out in front of a car. I don't know why. And sometimes I'll like pull her back and she'll get frustrated with me. And I always say, I'm so sorry. I know you're capable of walking on your own and you look both ways, but I'm just afraid that something bad is going to happen to you. I know that I'm maybe overprotective in this. So I would just do the opposite. Hey, I appreciate the fact that you don't want to see me get hurt, but you're also assuming that I'm going to get hurt. You're not taking into effect how many amazing things that are going to come out of this. I just watched a live podcast from NLU, and they talked about all these amazing things that happen when you're a dream chaser. And if I don't chase these dreams, I'm never going to get the opportunity to feel those things. So thank you. I appreciate it. I'm grateful that you're looking out for me, but I got this. I got to look out for myself on this.
Yeah, I think in the most simple form, it's what Kevin said of, I have to at least try, and I'll regret it if I don't. And if you care about me, you'll care about what I value. Emilia texted me recently. What was it? I forget what it was. She said something. Oh, yeah. So she texted me a screenshot of her REM sleep. It was the first time she's gotten past 6.5 hours of REM sleep. Obviously, she gets the full 8, but she has a tracker on like how much is REM, and 6.5 is very high. And one morning I woke up and I put the little blindfold on her because we have this big skylight and it's really bright in there. And then I also took care of Tucker to make sure he didn't wake her up. And she was so grateful. So she texted me and she said, thank you so much for valuing my goals. My most important core value is my brain health, and sleep is the biggest detriment to that. And I texted her something very simple. I said, sweetheart, I love you so much. And I value you so much that means I value what you value. And that's the truth. And this is a really hard truth. Seriously, if you value your dreams at a level 10 and you've communicated that, whether they're fearful of you or not, and I know you got to have empathy and all that kind of thing, but you have to be very careful. I've seen this too many times. I coach a lot of people. There are some really disrespectful people who pretend to value your dreams and they really don't. They pretend to respect you and they pretend to value you. You don't know what it's like to be valued at a level 10 until you've experienced it. I know what it's like to be valued at a level 10. Emilia, my fitness goals are as important to her as they are to me, and I've never had that before. So I understand that you got to have empathy for people that are fearful, to Kevin's point about like grabbing Taryn, right, and not wanting her to get hurt. And I do the same with Tucker and her as well. But if this other person's fears are holding you back, you have to be direct, you have to be honest, and you have to say, listen, I'm going to be unfulfilled if I don't try. You have to trust that. And I can handle failure. I can handle it. I can handle failure. What I can't handle is the regret of not trying. And you got to be very direct about that. And if they still do it after that, then that's on them, and you got to consider sailing away.
Come sail away. All right, Aim. Last one. Lightning round, Alan. 30 seconds each. $100 for every second you go over.
Perfect. Get our security deposit back. I'm just joking.
What tools exist to help people stay focused on what is the most important building block to improving one's own self-belief?
What tools exist? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
You want to start the
Our
clock?
app.
I was going to say that too. Genuinely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you and I have to be shameless in our belief for what we provide, and we never talk about we talk about ourselves, but our app, we have an app that will help you track habits, and at the end of the day, you become what you do most often, and if your habits are positive, they're going to lead you to become a more confident version of yourself. We did an episode today on not letting yourself down. If you're breaking promises to yourself, you are not building confidence. Make sure you keep the small promises to yourself and you will become more confident. That is the trick.
And the tool is peak performance tracking, and peak performance tracking that the whole team has been talking about. If you're a new listener, you can go back to past episodes we've done on consistency. It's essentially a simple habit tracker, health, wealth, and love. And spoiler alert, we're going to be coming out with something in particular that's launching with the app, and it may or may not be called the Next Level 9. The Next Level 9. 3 habits under health, 3 habits under wealth, 3 habits under love, and you do them every day. Kevin and I are going to lead that charge. Super, super excited for it, and it's going to piggyback right on the back of our app. It's called Optimal. Reach out to myself, Kevin, Amy, or Matt on the team, or any of the team members. Say, hey, I want in on Optimal, and we will get you onboarded.
Boom. That was probably 45 seconds. So quick 1500, slide on over, and we'll pretend that never happened. Next
Perfect.
Level Nation, we decided one day that, you know what, maybe one-on-one coaching isn't affordable for somebody. What can we do? And we landed on group coaching. And we're in the middle of our 6th group, but we have graduated 5 other groups, and we have had amazing reviews, amazing success when it comes to consistency, clarity, fulfillment. If you are interested in group coaching, we have payment plans where you can run it over the course of 6 months, so it's even more affordable. You meet every other week with Alan, myself, and 9 other amazing individuals. You have a private WhatsApp group, and I can promise you, you will be the most fulfilled, the most aligned, and the most consistent version of yourself. We're already half filled for our July group, but July 12th is when it's starting. Please reach out to myself or Alan if you're interested, and we will get you set up. I promise you will not regret it.
The very first thing I do on my coaching calls is we go through your most important objective. And once we have clarity on that one statement of what's the most important objective, I'll give you an example of one of my clients' objectives. To synergize all 3 of my businesses and optimize them for growth and impact and profitability without sacrificing fulfillment. So that's the sentence. Okay, from 0 to 10, how well are we doing that? And then he says, let's say 7. I say, okay, now let's go to work. How do we get a little closer to 10, little closer to 10, little closer to 10? If you are having trouble achieving your dreams, my coaching will help. I'm not good at a lot of stuff, but achievement I am. Let me help you reverse engineer your finish lines. Let me help you stay accountable. Let me help you track your habits. Reach out. You can do a half-hour free call. We'll put the link in the comments. I'm pretty sure you already did, Aim, and or the show notes. And let's jump on the phone. Let's talk about your goals and dreams, and let me help you reverse engineer the finish line. I'm not going to sell you anything. I love to meet our listeners. If the coaching is not for you, do not even worry about it. And by the way, it is way more affordable than you think. So please reach out.
So much so that when I transitioned into full-time podcasting coaching, I sent all of my clients to Alan because I believed, and I said this, I believe he can help you at a deeper level than I can when it comes to this. So I would be out of alignment if I did not send you his way. Next Level Nation. As always, we love you. We appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. Just a heads up, we're going to hit 1,000 episodes as of Sunday. So thank you to everybody who has been in the community since the Hyperconscious days. Thank you to everybody new. Thank you to everybody who's been leaving us reviews. We could not do it without you. And at NLU, we do not have fans. We have family. We will talk to you all tomorrow.
Please reach out.
Bye.